How are you doing? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, the founder of the highest paid part-time job in the world options trading program. Want to ask you, hit me with the like and hit me with the sub. Takes about 5 seconds for you to like the video, so appreciate it if you would do that. And what we're really quickly going to talk about is whether or not you should trade penny stocks. This is going to be a really good video for a person that wants to kind of understand, where do they fit in this actual market? Because there's so many different ways, and I kept trying to get people to understand is that, once you understand how the market works, you kind of understand how to read a chart. You kind of understand the fundamentals of trading. Regardless of what you're trading, there's a lot of different lanes for you to get into. And so you don't have to necessarily, get stuck to one lane. You can find out, what lane works for you based on how your life is set up, how much capital you have, and what your goals are. What results do you want from your market-based activity? And one of those lanes that you can get into is a penny stock lane. And I know a lot of people that have had bad experiences in penny stocks, and a lot of people that have good experiences in penny stocks. It really doesn't matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but their experience doesn't really speak to that particular area. It kind of speaks just to their own personal experience. And what I want you to understand is that if you're looking for a particular lane, there may be some advantages to penny stocks, and there also may be some disadvantages. And we're going to go ahead and get into it and talk about why some people really specialize in the penny stock lane. And what I mean by penny stocks is that these are like going to be stocks, I would say, trade under $4. Some people believe under $10, but I would say trade under $4. A lot of times you're going to see a lot of companies that can't get accepted to a lot of the larger exchanges. However, they can become publicly traded. And what they do is they go to some of the smaller exchanges and they get traded. And you also sometimes see a lot of, I wouldn't say weird things, but things that may go on, a lot of reverse mergers and things of that nature with this particular company. However, there's people that have made a lot of money in these spaces. Okay. And they've gotten so good at these spaces, they teach how to become successful in these spaces to other people. And there's nothing wrong with that, because the reason why the penny stock space is so attractive is because you don't necessarily have the same amount of capital to trade it than you would if you were trading some of the, the larger tickers traded at the main exchanges. So a lot of people believe that if you're going to be a day trader or even a swing trader, you got to start off with around 25K. And that's because a lot of the stocks that you're trying to trade are a little bit more expensive. With the penny stocks, I don't think you need 25K to trade it, because, you could be trading a stock that costs 50 cents. So you can take a sizable position based on the size of the float, but you can take a nice position size if you're trading a 50 or 25-cent stock. And one of the reasons why people are so attracted to the penny stock space is because of the way the market is set up. I want you to understand something. When you're looking at, like, let's say an Apple or an Amazon or a Tesla, or, even a Ford Motors or the major indexes, the SPY, the QQQ, the VIX, the UVXY, those particular spaces are attracting some really, really, really sharp people because of the amount of money that's in the space. Therefore, when you go into these spaces, that's a lot of times as a trader who you're competing with. Then also, they're creating really, really sophisticated algorithms. The market makers and also some of the funds that trade this have created really, really sophisticated algorithms to trade these particular stocks. So then you're also dealing with that. So when you walk into these spaces as a retail trader, you're dealing with not only some of the best people and some of the smartest people in the world in this space, you're also dealing with really, really sophisticated algorithms operating from the market making standpoint. Funds are also trading this with using really sophisticated algorithms. And their job is to take advantage of certain things that may be going on in the world from a macroeconomic standpoint, and then utilize that in that particular market for that particular stock. And this is what you're faced with. So for a lot of people, it can be difficult to find the success that they desire because you're in a very, very, very competitive space. However, if you go into the penny stock space, it's not that competitive. And I'm not saying that they don't trade that with algorithms, but you don't see the same level of competition in the penny stock space because you don't see the top firms in those particular spaces. You don't necessarily see Goldman or JP or Citadel, some of the top firms market making or trading in these particular penny stocks. And as a result, there's less competition. So once you learn how to trade, it can be a lot easier for you to be successful because the actual level of competition is not as difficult. So let me give an example of what I mean. There was an interview that I wasn't really watching, but I seen come across my YouTube. And the guy had done like maybe $1 million a year as a trader and found out that he was trading penny stocks. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, $1 million a year is $1 million a year. If you're able to do that trading from your home, it's a good thing. However, if you're talking about an actual institution that has a trading desk, $1 million a year is not worth their time, right? It's probably not even, maybe even $1 million a day is not worth their time. However, when you're talking about an individual trader trading penny stocks, that's a good run because it's kind of like a lower tier space. And it's not that it should be looked down on. The money's all the same. $1 million is $1 million. But he's operating in a space that doesn't necessarily attract the top people. Now, there are some people that are trading in the regular market, and maybe they need to look at penny stocks once they kind of understand how to trade. The problem why a lot of people have a bad impression of penny stocks is because they came in, they didn't really know how to trade. And they was attracted to penny stocks because of the lower price point, but the challenge is they never learn how to trade. So it doesn't matter what the price is of what you're trading. If you don't understand how the market works and understand how to trade, you're not going to make money regardless if the stock is 3 cents or the stock is $3,000 a share. It doesn't matter. And they kind of were not successful with the penny stocks, and then they kind of got the impression that penny stocks are bad. I don't necessarily deal with penny stocks, but I wish there was options on penny stocks because I understood that I wouldn't be dealing with forces that are as competitive as they are with me trading a lot of stocks for the regular tickers that I trade. Companies that are in S&P, companies that are in the Russell 1000 or 2000. They're being traded by serious competitors and serious players that are trying to get the market to go in a direction that they want to go so they can make money. And then that's what you're dealing with. So if I was just dealing with penny stocks, a lot of that would be thrown out of the window. And so a lot of the guys that you see that are some of the top people in the penny stock game, they're good traders, but they're good traders with penny stocks. It's just like, you have some guys that can really, really coach college really well, and they should be applauded for that. They probably necessarily could not coach the professional leagues that well because you're dealing with a totally different dynamic. So there's guys that are really, really good at penny stocks. They're good at trading those, and they kind of understand that's my lane. If I can make $500,000 a year trading penny stocks, I'm going to stay in that lane as opposed to trying to go into the regular market and getting killed because it's a much, much more competitive market. And they may jump over to the regular market to hit certain tickers, but they normally do most of their trading activity around penny stocks. Then you have people that trade the regular tickers. I know a guy based out of Canada. He's a really good trader. He will not mess with penny stocks at all because he just doesn't like how those markets are set up. And he thinks that there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that kind of throw the trading activity off that he just doesn't want to deal with. And he says you don't necessarily see that on some of the, the mainstream tickers. So I want you to understand is that there's a lane for you kind of regardless of whatever lane that you want to be in based on what you want to do. The most important thing is that you learn how the market operates, right? You learn how the actual space that you're trying to make money in, how that space operates. And then you put yourself in the best position to be successful based on that space. And that's what I would tell you that would allow you to be successful. A lot of things are presented to you as if you just do this will solve your problem. The problem is at the end of the day, you still have to know what you're doing. So even if you may feel like I'm undercapitalized to where I can't trade, some of the regular tickers, I can't trade Apple or Tesla or Amazon. Even though you may feel like, well, penny stocks will allow me to trade, you still have to learn how to trade. Still got to learn how the market works. It works the same way, whether it's penny stocks or whether it's big cap stocks. Supply and demand is still the same, right? The bid-ask spread is still the same, right? The level 2 activity primarily is still going to be the same. So you still got to understand the fundamentals of the market regardless of the space. But if you only see things based on, well, I can get over here because it's less expensive and that's what your requirement is, not I need to learn the market. I can be over here because it's less expensive, but then you can trade penny stocks and wash out on that. And a lot of times churn through the same amount of money that you would have churned through in the big cap stocks because you just never really learned how to trade. But your real desire, the real thing you wanted to have fulfilled was I don't feel like I'm spending the same amount of money. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. You can spend $3,000 up front and lose it all. You also can lose $200 a month until you get to $3,000. It's the same loss. It just took longer for you to lose it. But we learn in marketing that a lot of people will be more willing to spend $200 a month over time than to spend $3,000 up front. And they could be spending $200 a month and not even utilizing what they're spending the $200 a month on. But then if you ask them for $3,000 up front, they will get scared away by the price point. But if you can get the $200 a month out of them, they'll never look up and realize, you know what, I'm in 15 to 2000. I've never utilized this. So it's really a lot of marketing where if you want to trade or you want the results from trading, but you are worried that the price point of the bigger stocks are going to be too high, well, trade penny stocks. The problem is if you trade penny stocks and you lose less money, but you still lose that small amount of money over a period of time, at the end of the day, you still end up in the same place. And so this is why I try to tell people, a lot of people think the actual barrier to get somewhere is the price point, but it's not always necessarily the price point. But you believe it is, so then you're attracted to things that you think are less expensive for you to get into, especially, right, if you don't desire to finance it. I always said that the colleges have a master level of marketing because they're able to get 40, 50, 60, 70,000 out of people. They're able to get people to finance it, and they never question it the whole time they're going through the process. They never ask the college, you know, about their results. They never ask the college for testimonials. They never ask for any of that. They just pay what the college asks, right? Because they can finance it, because they really believe deep down inside their heart that that college degree is one, going to give them the status that they desire, and it's going to also give them the results that they desire. They think the life that they desire is going to come out of the result of college. And that's really because college can market to people for 18, sometimes 20 years, sometimes even longer before they actually come into college. So what a lot of people do is they look to get something that is lower tier because in their mind it's safer because I don't have to spend the money up front. But like I said before, is that if you don't really learn what you're doing, is when we relate to this market, if you don't learn the market, it's not going to matter how much money you did not spend on the front end. You're going to churn through that money the same way. So that's going to be pretty much what I want to talk about in regards to penny stocks. Are they good? Are they bad? They're really neutral. It's all really about the person, their goals, what they want to go into. I may one day go into the penny stock world and see, can I make something happen? It's just, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the people in that space. So I would have to try to figure out a way to trade it and not have to deal with a lot of the people, because a lot of the people, because it's a lower tier market, it attracts a lot of people that, you know, to me, just, they seem a little off. But a lot of the people that are in the big cap stocks, they seem a little off too. So to me, it's just different people, just wear different costumes. So I hope that was valuable to you. If you have any questions, reach out to me. If you want to learn more about the highest paid part-time job in the world options trading program, it's not a penny stock program. The link to the actual websites is in the description. Or you can reach out to me. I can talk to you about it one-on-one. I could probably send you a FAQ, and you know, you can decide whether or not it's going to be the right situation for you based on what you're trying to get out of the market and what you want your end result to be. This is David W., also known as Diamond Dave, and I'll talk to you later.